What's up guys, welcome to the Momentum Trading Lab. I'm your host Renier, and today we are going to look at the Nasdaq's futures market as well as the dollar index, try and figure out what it's going to do for the rest of the afternoon as well as tomorrow. So with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so let me just clean up my chart. I've been scalping all of these little moves during the morning. Let's start with a fresh chart today, and let's also go to the daily, and let's also get the dollar index. All right, so let's just do a quick review. So earlier in the week, just want to get this onto the screen. Alright, so earlier in the week, the idea was that the draw on liquidity would be towards this volume imbalance that we have right here. And then we also had these relative equal highs. So a lot of traders will see this as a resistance line, and they will try and hide their stop losses in this area. So the idea was right after the sweep of the liquidity below this low, that they would want to see higher prices so that they can take profit on their long positions. And then they can also reclaim this volume imbalance that we had at around 105. And then the next kind of projection is that it will have to retrace a little bit to reclaim some of the sell side liquidity that's now been built up below these lows. And then today we finally hit this imbalance. So this was a very small one. It was just hidden right there. You can see we came right into it, starting to get rejected there. And then we also have all of these imbalances right here. So on the daily chart, between these three candles, we have a fair value gap, and then we have another one right here. And let's also just have a peek at the weekly. So on the weekly, yeah, you can see it even better, right? So relative equal lows, sell side liquidity. Then they brought it right into it, and then it started to aggressively move away. So it displaced above this high that we had right here. No fair value gaps. I thought for a moment there was a fair value gap right there, but we have this wick, and then this wick is right there. So there's no imbalance right there. So we have one right here. So still technically displacement with that fair value gap being right here. So let's move this up a little bit. So ideally, the dollar index will now, I think, is potentially going to happen before we come down for this liquidity, is that it might come down to rebalance these imbalances and then go for these highs right here before it finally retraces. So I think that is potentially more likely. Also have these equal highs right here. So that's our buy side liquidity. And this is at 105.883. So we can pull a Fibonacci on this impulse. Move this to the side. Zoom in a little bit. Alright, so with the Fibonacci, we have the equilibrium right here at 104.047. And then we have this fair value gap in between the equilibrium and the Fibonacci 618. So that seems like the likely area that it will retrace to, and then another potential push to the upside to reclaim this buy side liquidity right here. Let's also have a look at the momentum master. Okay, so it is starting to kind of get topped out. A little bit of a bearish divergence starting to print on the Williams. And you can also see it starting to form on the stochastics. Looks like it still has a little bit of momentum left, but this could also just be a little bit of a imbalance and then move to the downside, or consolidation rather. We'll look at the MACD. Also a little bit of a bearish divergence on the RSI. So you have a swing high to a swing high, and then a swing high to a swing low. So it's not the strongest one, but it is there, and it is on the daily, and that is normally a significant signal. Yeah, so that's kind of my projection for the dollar in the coming days and week, is to retrace back into this discount, reclaim all of these imbalances, and then get that next push to the upside. Have a look at the 4 hour. And there you can see the divergence also printing on the momentum master, and then the alarm on the Williams indicator as well. So it seems likely they come down, reclaim it, and then also take out all of these liquidity pools. That looks about right. So there's a nice low for sell side liquidity, and then we have these equal lows right here. And then they could also potentially come for this right here. There's also a bit of a gap right there. Yeah, so these are the imbalances on the daily. And then we have one right here on the 4 hour. You can obviously see those right there. And then there's some smaller ones right inside of the daily imbalance. Want to have another look. Okay, so most of the oscillators is basically pointing to the downside. RSI is pointing down, MACD, stochastics, and it looks like the Williams is starting to roll over. Also a bit of a bearish divergence right there. So a swing high to a swing low, and a swing high to a swing high. So that's a bearish divergence. We'll look at the 1 hour. Okay, so we can't see any market structure shift on the 1 hour yet, and not any sign of bearish order flow. So let's go to the 15-minute. Okay, so right here, a little bit of consolidation, then a push to the upside into that volume imbalance. And so this was the very last higher low. We displaced below this low, so that's displacement. Then we had a gap form right here. Came into it, moved down, kind of consolidating right now. So this could be that they are inducing longs below these lows. Have a closer look. Let's go to the 5-minute. You can see the 5-minute is struggling to get past this imbalance. So to me, it looks like they are inducing liquidity below these lows, stacking up the liquidity, and then they might just give it a final little small push to the upside, and then push it down, knock out all of the longs below these lows, below these lows, and below these lows, and then potentially make its way down to these imbalances that we already discussed. All right, I think that is a pretty good picture for the dollar index. Yeah, so definitely we were trending up. This was the last higher low, displaced below it, came into the fair value gap, retraced down, and it looks like this consolidation is just to induce more longs, so that they can stack their stop losses below these lows. All right, let me quickly have a look at the chat. We have Priya, Jacob, Spraggy, CNC. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Priya was crushing it today. He said that he's up 603. He made 603, then 412 and $404. That's pretty good, dude. Congrats. That's my NQ chart has been doing strange things, so I've been using the September contract one today. Okay, that's played out pretty nice. So this was from the 3rd. That was from the beginning of the week. Yeah, so this was on Sunday evening. We said it was likely that we get a retrace into this fair value gap. We took out the buy side. So it was likely that they would retrace lower to take out any internal sell side liquidity and then reprice this fair value gap, and then potentially get another push to the upside to go and take out the liquidity above this high. And then we also have a volume imbalance right here, so basically the same as what we saw on the dollar. So the dollar came back to this volume imbalance, so I'm assuming that the Nasdaq will do the same in the near future. So now the chart today. We came right into the volume imbalance. Let's also get the fib on this. Came right into the discount. Also have a look at the momentum master. This is still not looking the greatest, but this could easily just start to flip back to the upside, do like this double top thing. Have a look at the 4-hour. See, so the 4-hour looks pretty good. Everything looks ready to push to the upside, but this could easily just start to curl back to the upside. Clean this up. Okay, so let me switch on the extensions as well. Okay, so like we said on the dollar, that the volume imbalance, the Nasdaq also has one right here. Our daily fair value gap. Okay, so the daily is still in bullish market structure after it came down to knock out all of the liquidity right here. So let's have a look at the 4-hour. Okay, let's see what the 4-hour did. So just have a look at this price action. It came straight for this high, and then you can see it didn't displace above this high. It started to move to the downside. So that tells you that the market maker, or whatever you want to call it, smart money, they bought up any stop losses that was hidden above this high, and then obviously price goes to the downside so that they can take profit on their short positions. Let's get a Fibonacci from this low. Yeah, also a bit of a imbalance right there. See how it came almost exactly to that low of the fair value gap. just tapped into it and started to move away from it. Okay, now with this move down, I want to quickly hide this one on the daily. Okay, so we can actually remove this fib. And now we need one from this last high to this low. Yo, we have Smurf, Laura, Subi, is it Sabi or Subi guy? And Andrew. Nice to see you guys. Alright, so the 4-hour came into the discount. It looks like it's starting to move away. And we have a fair value gap right here. And then also seeing that tomorrow is the run on Profit Friday. It seems likely that we will start to gravitate towards this area, which starts at 15,404. That's the low end of the fair value gap. And then the high end of the fair value gap is at 15,460. And then there's also a little imbalance right there. Okay, so let's have a look at the 1 hour. Just want to do a quick check and see if there's not any imbalances that it could gravitate back to this area. Perhaps there's one right there and one right there. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like a momentum master wants to push to the upside, getting the rising sun on the Williams, and then that little blueprint on the MACD, and then his stochastics, the RSI, and the money flow is pushing to the upside. But I would want to see a market structure shift. Okay, so on the 15-minute we have a market structure shift, so we made lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then a higher high. And this looks like a retrace to a fib level. Came right to the 618. But it did make a lower high. Yeah, let's quickly have a look at the 5-minute. Okay, so there was a bit of a gap. Took out this low and then displaced above this high. So we need to get a fib on this. Okay, so this started right at lunchtime. So normally at lunchtime they kind of rate the liquidity of whatever happened before lunchtime, so during the AM session. So right here we had bearish market structure, and then during lunchtime they ripped it to the upside. I'm gonna quickly go back to the 4-hour. Okay, so let's clean this up. Have a look at the 2-minute. Okay, so this was basically the lunchtime move to the upside. We go to the 3-minute. Okay, so the lunchtime hour is done in about 5 minutes. So this is basically what I'm going to look at for the afternoon session. Okay, so if we get the displacement below this low, that will give us a bearish market structure shift. So we just want to see that displacement. So the displacement just has to give us a fair value gap that we can target for re-entry. Then you enter right there. And then I will take my first TP right here. So just pair up your position with the liquidity below these lows. So not actually target this area for your first take profit. So just want to switch off the magnet. So if you enter around there, right to the beginning of the fair value gap, that's about 30 points. Then TP2 is about 50 points. And then I'll keep the runner for in case it runs to these relative equal lows right there. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be targeting if we get displacement below this low. But we also have to consider that the shorts has been profitable. So this is very simple. We just try and look for where is the displacement going to take place. So if we displace above this high, then we just enter on the fair value gap that will form in this area. And then we just run it towards these highs right there. There's some relative equal highs right there. And then you can take your first TP perhaps right on that high right there. So that's what I'm looking at. But for the long, I would actually like to see, let's remove this. For the long, you would actually want to see just some sort of short-term liquidity grab, just quickly wick below a previous low and then displace to the upside. That will be the ideal setup. All right, let's go have a quick look at ES. See how ES came exactly to the 618 and started to move away from it. Moved into this bullish order block. Just past the fair value gap, but it's not closed below it yet. So it just tapped into the 618 and started to move away from it. So I definitely think I'm not too sure yet what's gonna happen in the afternoon session. I'm just gonna kind of scalp it on the 1 minute. But I think tomorrow, with it being the run on profit Friday, we are gonna start seeing the Nasdaq and ES start to move to the upside again to go and close those imbalances that we have right there. So look at the 4 hour. Okay, so ES doesn't have that fair value gap high up. This one has it nice and far away. Over here, it's just right there. Now, so I don't particularly like the fact that we have these two lows building up right there. So we could see just one more stab in the same right here. So this is just building up long stop losses, right? So ES is giving me the vibe that they will bring it back into this area one more time and then start to move to the upside. We can go back. I just want to see what's happening, if it's going to displace below this low or just tap into it and then start to move away from it. So this will be, that will actually be the high that you look at. So you want to see the displacement above this high, create that little fair value gap somewhere around there. And then you just enter on into the retrace. As simple as that. Yeah, I just want to have a quick look at Bitcoin. It normally doesn't do anything. Will just be a quick look. Okay, so this is the chart that I put out in the beginning of the week as well. So we have these huge imbalances right here. Consolidation. We have relative equal highs right there. So seeing that we have these imbalances and these relative equal highs right here, I think they would stab it to the upside to reclaim these imbalances, just get it back into a premium and then run it towards the sell side liquidity, because you can see these lows just building up. So everyone is going to see this as strong support and hide their stops below this area, and that's exactly what the market makers want. So especially if they push it to the upside, everybody's going to FOMO in long with their stops right here, and then we'll just get a violent move to the downside and then knock out all of the long positions. All right, I think that's it for me for today, guys. Let's just have a quick last look at the Nasdaq. Okay, so this is maybe looking good for a potential long. You see, it only went below this low, just kind of tapped into it, and it looks like it wants to move to the upside. So if you take out that high and it leaves a little gap, then that little gap will be your entry when it retraces into it. Looks like it's starting to move to the upside. Let's just give this a little moment to do its thing. It doesn't look like it's displacing above. Let's just give it some time. Have a look at the 1 minute. It's Subi, not Sabi. Okay, thanks for the confirmation, guys. Every time, like, when I see you in the Discord, I thought it was Sabi, but it's nice to know it's Subi. Okay, this 1 minute looks like it's gonna dump. Just struggling to get past that little gap. Okay, so on ES, on the 1 minute, let's took out these short-term lows. Let's see if we can get displacement of above this high. That leaves that fair value gap. Then we can maybe get an entry in that fair value gap, and then it should be an explosive move to the upside. Have my ninja open. A little gap right here, but it needs to take out this high. All right, this is not giving me the aggressive move that I want to see. The kill zone actually in any case starts in 26 minutes. So it might be a little lackluster until that time. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do the kill zone in the Discord. So I'll put out the notification and then just do it in the live analysis section. Alright, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So thank you guys for tuning in. So jump in the Discord if you're not already in there. The link is in the description. I also pinned it to the top of the live stream chat. So grab it over there. We have a pretty cool Discord. I try and do as many updates as I can during the day. Then we have Illuminated. He's the inventor of the Momentum Master. And then we have a cool little economic calendar bot. So it gives you the Forex Factory high and medium impact news events every day. General chat. The community can post their setups in there if they want to. You can ask questions. I changed this, so this is now the forum, so it's kind of more organized. So if you have any questions, please post them in there. And there's some information on prop firms and stuff. Alright, not doing anything yet. Wait, it might. Go back to the 2 minute. Okay, so that is the new lower high. So now it needs to displace above this high. So this is the setup. Low, took out the low. Now we just need to get an aggressive move above this high. So maybe the fair value gap will kind of be right there. Displaces up, comes back, right at the upside. Just look at some good targets for if we get the long entry. Okay, that will be a good target right there at 15,360. That will also be a good target. 15,333. And also maybe that one right there. I think I'll take my first partial right there if we get the long entry. It looks like it's going to be a potential short entry. Alright guys, I think that's it for me. I will potentially just continue this in the Discord a bit later on. So thank you for everybody for joining in. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe. And then I will see you guys tomorrow at around the same time. So thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.